Autism is a spectrum. In fact, its proper name is ASD, or Autism Spectrum Disorder. While there are common traits, the characteristics are broad and varied. No two people on the spectrum will experience it in the same way. Personally, I don't like the term disorder, as I don't see it as a disorder. I see it as a unique and individual way of processing the world and the information we receive. Asexuality is also a spectrum, but it is not classified as a disorder, and rightly so, as an orientation. Sensory processing is a very typical characteristic of autism. An asexual activity is a sensory and sensual type activity. It follows logically, or at least to me as an autistic woman, that there would be a connection. Many on the autistic spectrum do not like people up too close in their personal space. They do not like to be touched, or to be touched only on their terms, which is not conducive to a normal, and I say normal in quotation marks, or spontaneous sex life. Studies have shown that it is more difficult for people with autism to find and have successful relationships. This is thought to be due to the struggles they have with social observations, etiquette and cues. It was also observed that many on the autism spectrum felt that there were more important things that interested them other than sex and relationships, while others felt that looking for a partner and maintaining a relationship was too stressful. Research shows that many more identify as asexual than in the average population. Asexuality, by definition, is the lack of sexual attraction, but it doesn't mean the lack entirely of a sex drive. Hence, some that identify as asexual will seek ways to fulfill their sex drive. Processing the difference here can be hard to do for anyone, but for someone with processing issues, it can be a nightmare. Many with autism see and understand things very literally, so to desire sex biologically but not have sexual attraction is a contradiction. Throw in society or cultural expectations and it can be disastrous. From a personal perspective, I have struggled with this all my life, making bad choices and not being able to play the games that others thought we were playing. People like myself who have PDA need to be in control, and falling in love, in a sense, is a lack of control. It's a constant struggle between juggling what society tells us we should want, hormones, and difficulty in processing what is required to find a successful relationship. If you have sensory issues around touching or bodily fluids, sex is not something that is attractive, but yet it is portrayed as an integral and necessary activity in a relationship, so you feel pushed and obligated to have it. Even if you relieve yourself and experience pleasure, the sensations leading up to it or after may be repugnant. Constantly feeling like you have to comply and compromise is soul destroying, and you can gradually lose your self-respect and confidence. I have never liked being touched, and not just in a sexual way. I remember when I was in labour with my first child and my mother lovingly stroked my head and I pushed her away. I know it hurt her. She was not usually a very affectionate person. It wasn't that I didn't want the affection, I just didn't like the sensation, and I still feel guilty about it. I didn't know I was autistic back then. I believed for over 40 years that there was something wrong with me, there was something bad that earned me the title of the Ice Queen. I barely ever hugged my older kids, and they have said they felt unloved because of it. I'm not incapable of love, just the expectations that are put on us to display that love and the ability to show it in a socially acceptable manner. The naked body is another example. I see things very literally, and to me it's just a body. We all have one, so nudity is not something that bothers me. I don't see the naked body in any way as sexual, yet society teaches us that it is a sexual object and not just natural. Which makes me wonder, is it a sexual object, or have we just been programmed to think that way? Things have progressed and are still progressing for those on the autism spectrum, with greater understanding and acceptance, but it's not enough. We need to live in a world where being single or being in a sexless relationship is totally socially acceptable as it is to be in the traditional family unit. People need to know that it's okay to be themselves and to vocalise what they want and what they don't want without fear of judgment. Please don't struggle in silence, reach out and never be ashamed to be your own unique self. Happy asexual pride.